job if my boss knew she'd fire me. That's fine, the New York Times would beg to hire me. Till then I'd log alone. Blah, 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 blah.
One of the issues is they're ambiguous about how a green job is being defined. If you look at the jobs, many of the jobs involved are assembly jobs, and so the intellectual property, for example, for wind turbines, largely lives in Germany and Japan. And so most of the gains are going to be going, for these technologies, are going to Germany and Japan, and the jobs themselves might be here, but it's assembly as opposed to true value capture. It's similar to what you see in the reverse with the iPod, where they might be being assembled in China, but the intellectual property is here in the United States, and so we're capturing control that way. With a lot of these, it's the other way around. Many of these reports, for example, the one from the UN Environmental Program, are explicitly anti-free trade. And it's ironic, of course, that the wind turbines, which is one of their favorite technologies, does show a global supply chain with the main intellectual property living outside of the United States. So on the one hand, you have people promoting autarky, and on the other hand, they're promoting a technology that relies on a global supply chain.
Invited President Obama to come to our conference. And I personally thought, I know it's closed door, but I thought it was one of the most productive. I thought the president was very, very good. I thought he didn't play games. I thought the conference was very good. Whereas they didn't get up and grandstand and try to make a point. They just talked about the stimulus, and they talked about ways, this is in it, this could be better, we could do this. What I appreciate about the president did, when he disagreed, he'd say, I just disagree with your point, I don't agree with that, so let's move on. Other ones he'd say, if you've got a better idea, go forward. So here you are, you have a conference of Republicans, meeting with a brand new president, talking about a crisis in America. You've got to understand how big this crisis is. An American loses their job every 4 seconds. One job in America is lost every 4 seconds. So while we sit here and have lunch, a number of people go. 16 people losing every job. So from that perspective, it's not a time to play politics, it's time to find solutions. As we had this conversation with this president, we're feeling like, here he is asking us for plans, here he is before. When we walked out the door, the press is all about, not the president meeting with us, but Speaker Pelosi introducing the stimulus bill. Moving a stimulus bill without ideas that we're sitting talking to the president about. Moving a bill without saying, the president told us, let's refine that, let's try to work on that. So I almost think that became a frustration for him as well, going through it. Then he had to take ownership of it. It wasn't where he all wanted to go. He was very frank and honest with us. He brought up certain things in the bill that I don't think anybody in America agreed with. He said, look, I don't take ownership of this thing. There's some things in bills people don't agree with.
What I tried to talk about was the future of America. And where the Obama's budget takes us into large deficits, the largest debt, and doesn't have a path for getting us out of these deficits and growing America. So I tried to show a different path that Republicans have solutions that focus on small business. 70% of all jobs are created in small business. That's where we should focus and grow this economy and make sure that government controls their spending, that we don't put this debt on the future generations. I enjoy it. I mean, I do a blogger call every 2 weeks. I try to find every different avenue to reach out and communicate. To me, I believe in greater transparency and greater accountability. And one thing that you have through the blogging community is one that challenges you on your ideas, but also to get the information out of what's happening right here in Washington so the average person can know it and see it because this is their government. Well, I think it's one that's going to grow. This is kind of an emerging issue because the budget has just now been introduced from President Obama. The Republicans will have a budget that they're going to roll out, and so you will see this debate moving further. So I tried to educate people where we are at currently and how to follow it as we go along.